speak in public, I'd rather be burned at the stake. At least that's how I used to feel, until Toastmasters. I went online and found a club that met every week at lunchtime, and they were close to my office, so it worked out great. I was really scared when I started, but no one pressured me to speak or pushed me to do anything I wasn't ready for. I felt safe, and I realized it was okay to be nervous and to make mistakes, because these people were going to support and encourage me no matter what. And now, well, let's just say things have changed. I speak in front of large groups, lead all-day seminars, and conduct presentations to top executives. Toastmasters changed my life.
There are over 100 Toastmasters clubs meeting all around the Portland, Vancouver area, near your office, home, or even your school. We meet on all days of the week, morning, noon, and night. Our clubs couldn't be more convenient or affordable at under $10 a month. Visit a couple locations and find the one that's just right for you. All the information you need is at Toastmasters.org.
Hi, welcome back to TV Toastmasters. I'm your host, Bill Hernandez. A little bit about my Toastmasters experience. I belong to two clubs at the Nike campus. One of them is the West Beaverton Toastmasters Club. We meet Tuesdays at noon. The other one is Sporty Speakers. We meet Thursdays at 6 o'clock, and you're more than welcome to come to the Nike campus and check out either club. But this is not about me. This is about my guest, Dr. Tracey Adams. Tracey, welcome. It's good to see you again.
Thank you, Bill.
Tracey and I go back. You want to tell people how we met?
We met online.
We did. We met online. We
We
actually had a coffee date, and we've become good friends ever since.
Yes, see, it can be fruitful going
Yes.
out there and putting your vulnerabilities out there. I think you can meet a lot of interesting people.
So, Tracey, we're here to talk about emotional intelligence.
Yes.
So before we dive into the topic, can you first tell us a little bit about your background in emotional intelligence?
Well, my career has been in the leadership development space. So I've spent about 20 years with a passion developing leaders to be better leaders. And I also have been a leader in my career and have struggled myself with this idea of getting my voice in the room and being authentic and being cool under pressure and building relationships in organizations. And so I discovered emotional intelligence about 13 years when I got a negative performance feedback experience where my boss said that I had some emotional leakage, which I'd never heard anything like that before. I remember saying to him, is there a book on that? Like, where does one go to learn how to stop the leakage?
Right.
So I read Dan Goldman. I went to some certification classes. I went off and got schooled in it and certified in it and have been teaching it for about 13 years.
So tell me, is this an issue that solely affects women, or do men suffer from emotional leakage as well?
Well, it's funny you say that. Our brains are different. So I will say that there is plenty of neuroscience around how men's brains and women's brains are wired. My work has primarily been in the space of leaders, and then over the last 2 years just with women. I identify with the female experience at work. And Bill, I'm raising two teenagers. I have an 18-year-old son.
Good luck with that.
I have watched his brain go from highly emotional. My son is highly sensitive and highly emotional. And so to watch him through that evolution, he's 18 now, and it's an amazing process to watch how men gravitate towards this work as well. So if you've ever been to therapy or if you've ever read self-help books, I don't think it's a gender differentiation. Honestly, I think that, I think that if you're human, you need it. I mean, we're all emotional beings, and so it's an amazing study that I've experienced.
I find it interesting even now with the whole Me Too movement that it's not men against women. I've seen it where it's women treating other women in the workplace poorly. So what tips can you give to women that want to thrive in the workplace? What things should they be aware of?
I like to frame up the whole emotional intelligence conversation about practicing. Like, it really is a practice. And when you think about what it is, it's a cognitive process. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is not where we're just walking around feeling sad or feeling happy or getting in touch with our feelings. It really is integrating your thinking brain your feeling brain, and then the actions you take. So if I'm at work and I'm in a meeting and I'm feeling diminished, or there's a lot of male energy in the room and I feel like I'm not able to get my voice in the room, it is a practice of noticing and naming what's my experience, and then being able to have courage and lean in to be able to say something or clearly articulate what I think, feel, and want.
Why do you think women don't do that? And I don't think it's just a female issue. I think anyone in a meeting has at some point felt that I have something to say, but they don't. Then some other person may say it and say, "Oh, dang it! I was about to say the same thing."
I have coached men for 16 years. I've had men reporting to me before, and I've had conversations and given feedback to men. Man, you should have spoke up. Like it's a human characteristic. I think women struggle with it. Our runway isn't as long. You know, I just spent December. Every December, I watch a series of something, whether it's Star Wars or Battlestar Galactica. I hunker down in the holiday season, and I commit to some kind of series. And this year it was Mad Men. I watched all 7 seasons.
I've never seen that.
Oh my God.
I know. I have to watch
it. It's such
it.
a great study of men and women in the workplace, and how, you know, women had their role. Like, we had our role in the house, and then we started like droves coming into the workplace, and people didn't know how to behave, and we had to figure out all those norms. And I think women have had a shorter runway in how corporate and organizational politics and navigation works. So my passion is to help them, and it's not just women only.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you talk about Mad Men, but back in those times, it seemed like the roles were more widely accepted, and women understood and knew and accepted their place in the workplace. Would you say that? When did that change, do you think?
You know, I don't know if it was acceptance. I think it was more compliance and more, you know, if I just use that show as an example, there's those undercurrents of resentment and is this right? Is this not right? He just called me sweetheart and then patted me on the butt. Like, really? Is that? And you bring up the Me Too movement. I think that's the conversation now. I can think of, even in my own life, times where a man had crossed the line, and I would be sort of shocked and taken aback, going, did that really just happen? And not say anything. And not necessarily because I wasn't courageous, but what happens when you're hijacked is your brain can't think clearly. So sometimes it takes me a whole week to realize that someone has crossed a boundary. And I don't think it's just about women, but I know that when I'm in relationship with someone, there are often times where I have to say to my partner, okay, I need to go back 3 weeks ago when you said X, Y, and Z.
And I'm like, 3 weeks ago? What? I don't remember what I said yesterday. Are you kidding me?
But it's a practice. It really is. And the cool thing about emotional intelligence, my practice around emotional intelligence is to make the time it takes for me to understand that I've been triggered to the time I actually say something shorter. Like, that would be my gift to myself.
So you hold seminars,
Yes.
Thrive On seminars,
Yes.
and there's more information at thriveonseminars.com.
Yes.
But what are the elements that make up emotional intelligence? We were talking about earlier, there's 5 aspects of a person's, for well-being.
Well-being,
Can
yes.
we go dive a little bit into that?
Yeah, I use the Gallup Well-Being Index because I think it's a really powerful tool of self-discovery. Gallup is known for its polling expertise. It has branched off into positive psychology. So what they study is effective humans rather than dysfunctional humans. And so they've polled millions of people around our planet around these 5 areas of well-being. And I use it as really just a metaphor and an opening for a woman to explore where she might be out of balance.
Okay.
You've got money, you've got
money,
career,
career,
you've got relationships, community, your
social,
body,
physical.
Yeah.
Do you think most people just aren't aware that where they need help, or what areas they lack?
I honestly think
Well,
our
there's a lot of
culture is
denial.
numb. I do. I think, and I'll just speak from my own experience. I was numb a lot. I tell a story in one of my workshops when I talk about money. I was $28,000 in consumer debt. I had I was a 6-figured earner. I made a lot of money, but I had no idea where it was going. I had retirement accounts everywhere. I spent money like I didn't even know it was in my checkbook. And it wasn't that I wasn't savvy or smart or educated. It was just that I was numb. Like it was the blinders on, and I didn't feel comfortable in the power of money. So a lot of my work is about stepping into that power.
Right. Is it almost, I imagine, 5 buckets, you dip from one bucket to kind of satisfy the other bucket?
Oh,
So if I spend money, I'm going to feel better about myself.
Yes.
And then you realize, oh wow, I'm off base here with my financial bucket.
Oh yes. You know, I had this realization even recently where I might eat like an entire bag of Toll House cookies and feel really bad about that. And so then I'll just go to my checkbook and organize my checkbook,
Right.
like some semblance of control, right? And so there's that idea of if my life's out of balance, I might be managing something really well here, but then something else seems to be out of balance. And so my work around EQ is what relationship am I in with the things around me, and how can I move through them so that I make better choices?
So as a father with 2 daughters, one's 24, the other one's 21, and they are entering the workplace, and I would like to, what piece of advice do you suggest I give them as they enter the workforce?
Yeah.
That they can thrive and make sure that their voices are heard.
And
in
they
the
don't have
workplace.
emotional leakage, which
Right.
in
They
my
don't have
20s,
no.
I was leaking and not self-regulating. You know, I think for any young person in the workplace, we're at a time, it's so interesting. We have 4 different, generations in the workplace now. We've got baby boomers retiring, we've got millennials, we've got Gen Xers, and I would say someone coming in, finding the strong players and really being mentored. I just can't tell you how many times when I'm emotionally off, it's been that person at work, that strong adult presence at work that I can go to and say, look, Sue is really on my case and I don't know how to navigate that relationship. What do you recommend? Like that when people thrive in organizations, they're socially networked. And good organizations do this concept called social embeddedness theory, which is get people in potlucks and water coolers and have sofas everywhere, because the psychology says that if we're bonded at work, we'll be less likely to leave. So get those daughters bonded.
Sofas in the workplace.
Sofas
You've
in
got
the
it.
workplace. And not just for therapy.
So Tracey, I want to thank you for joining us on TV Toastmasters. For information, it's thriveonseminars.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd like to thank you for joining us here tonight. My name's Bill Hernandez. We've been talking with Dr. Tracey Adams about emotional intelligence and Thrive On seminars. We hope you'll join us next time on TV Toastmasters.
Speak in public? I'd rather be burned at the stake. At least that's how I used to feel, until Toastmasters. I went online and found a club that met every week at lunchtime, and they were close to my office, so it worked out great. I was really scared when I started, but no one pressured me to speak or pushed me to do anything I wasn't ready for. I felt safe, and I realized it was okay to be nervous and to make mistakes, because these people were going to support and encourage me no matter what. And now, well, let's just say things have changed. I speak in front of large groups, lead all-day seminars, and conduct presentations to top executives. Toastmasters changed my life.
There are over 100 Toastmasters clubs meeting all around the Portland, Vancouver area, near your office, home, or even your school. We meet on all days of the week, morning, noon, and night. Our clubs couldn't be more convenient or affordable at under $10 a month. Visit a couple locations and find the one that's just right for you. All the information you need is at toastmasters.org.
Hi, welcome back to TV Toastmasters. My name is Bill Hernandez, and we have a very special guest in the studio with us tonight, Lici Denning. Lici, welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
Thank you. Doing good.
Lici is the Director of Presentation and Multimedia Services at Siemens PLM Software. That's a mouthful. What exactly does the Director of Presentation and Multimedia Services do?
I help people with their presentations and tell their stories. That's basically it.
Okay, and how did you become interested in that? What is your background?
I've always told stories.
Okay.
And I started my career in television. I was a writer, producer, a segment producer. That was many years ago. And I had a daughter, and I stopped working in television. And then I like to say that design found me, because I was not looking to be a graphic designer or anything. But I started, just playing with graphic design when my daughter was a baby, and then I ended up getting a job. doing websites, and then it just kept evolving.
Right.
And until I got this assignment as presentations guru. And I've been trying to get more into communications and storytelling.
Right. I think I was selected to do this interview because I have a background in television myself. So
Exactly.
it's nice to share the
we
stage
have
with
that
you here tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
I looked on LinkedIn, did a little research on you, and I found a very interesting quote. One of your favorite quotes. Hopefully you remember, but you said, "Talent is not enough." What does that mean?
I think that you can be extremely talented at absolutely anything, and if you're a pain to work with, then it doesn't matter, right? Talent will not keep you in the job or the opportunity that you might want if you're difficult to work with, or if you're late, or whatever other things. So I think that what that means to me is that to do a good job, you have to have talent and have passion and be responsible and show up and see what the other person wants and try to understand what they want, so that it takes a lot more than just being talented. That's all it means to me.
Now, I work in a job where I've seen people who are extremely talented, but if they don't play well in the sandbox, or if they don't get along with people, they just don't fit in and they don't last very long. So that's a good tip.
Yeah, and less talent will win.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So before we go into why we're here tonight, tell us a little bit about your Toastmasters background, the name of your club, and how you got
name of the club
into
is Toastmasters Storytellers.
Okay.
I've been participating for about a year and a half.
Excellent. Excellent. So welcome. So tonight our topic is a project that Lici has been working on, and it's called Saved by Beauty. And I find the whole topic just fascinating.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about what is Saved by Beauty?
The name Saved by Beauty came to me like inspired.
In a dream?
Well, I can tell you exactly how it was. I had been listening to stories about beauty. And I had heard several interviews, for example, one, Amy Purdy. She is, perhaps some viewers know her because she was dancing in Dancing with the Stars, but she has no legs.
Wow.
And so she gave an amazing performance, and I heard an interview with her. Her story is that she actually died. When she lost her limbs, she actually died. And the story is that some people, when you die, they get some kind of being ask them, are you ready to leave, or not? Some people get that question, some people don't. That's her story.
Wow.
And she said that she answered, she remembered the beauty in the world, and she knew that coming back with the accident or whatever had happened to her that would be horrific, but that she was not ready to leave the beauty. And I remembered other stories about beauty and how beauty had actually saved people. And I was out, it was snowing in March. In March, I'm from California.
Right.
So snow in March was just like, what? And I was not in a really good mood that day, but when I saw that it was snowing, I went out and I was so happy just looking at the snow. And in that moment, I was like, Saved by Beauty. Yes, that's the name. And remember all the people who have gone through struggle, and that appreciating the beauty kind of lift them up.
I would imagine Saved by Beauty, or beauty, is such a wide topic. You're opening up quite a sandbox there, and everyone will have their own definition, their own interpretation of beauty. Is that one of the findings with this project?
It was one of the starting points that beauty is everywhere and everybody has their interpretation. What I was the most, and I still am the most interested and drawn to, is the beauty that we create. The beauty that we can give people by being kind, by smiling, by creating something, by showing up. There's so much negativity right now, and has been for quite a while. So my point was, how can we participate in a positive way, with a voice that adds beauty and that kind of drowns that negativity and that anxiety that we are living through, and giving more space for beauty was so is it beauty in nature and beauty in music, but I find a lot of beauty in struggle, beauty in showing up at a demonstration, beauty in truth, beauty in equality, beauty in the topics that are really important to us right now.
Well, someone who may have a lot of beauty in their lives, how do you get people to recognize that you just did something beautiful, or you just saw something beautiful? I was telling you before, like when I take my dog for a walk, it's just such a nice moment to be in the moment with her and notice what's around you, and just being in the moment to me is key. But if for people who don't have a clue about, well, how do I even delve into this topic, what's a good starting point?
I think one of the main starting points is what you said, is noticing, just stopping to notice. There is beauty everywhere, at every moment, but we don't always notice it because we're too much in our mind, we're too busy with the negativity or with worry or with something else that's going on. And it's just pausing to notice something, that's very important. That's the beginning. One of the quotes that I've also, no, it's not even a quote, it's the title of a book by John O'Donoghue. And I started reading about beauty, and that particular author has really spoken to me. His introduction, the title of his introduction is, "The cry of our times is to awaken beauty," to awaken it, like to wake up and notice it.
Right.
You know, and he says that part of the reason why we have such, the crisis in the world that we have right now is because we have allowed too much negativity, too much ugliness. And I really love that. We have allowed too much ugliness in our lives. And so how do we do that? Well, I feel that one of the ways is to be more mindful about the beauty around us and also about what we can create that is beautiful.
And how is the project taking shape? It's such a universal theme. You could literally travel the world for years.
I would love that. I would love that. Okay,
what is beauty,
that's
right.
in my wish list, okay?
Is that in the budget? Can we find a...
Yeah, please. That would be a dream come true. But right now, I'm sorry.
Well, how's the project taking shape?
Oh, how's the project taking shape? I started talking, somebody challenged me. There's a project that I love. It's called Humans of New York. And Brandon Stanton, I believe his name, he goes and talks with people and then he posts in Facebook their story. I really like that, and a friend challenged me to speak with people every day. So I started doing that, and that completely changed the project. That really spoke to me because I have just gone out and talked with people and asked them two questions. What is beauty, and how do you bring beauty into the world? And I have found that when I ask that to people, they don't necessarily know right away. They have to stop and think about it, which goes back to what you were just saying. How can we just even stop and be mindful? Well, you have to just kind of stop and think about it. And I'm like, oh, I can just be with my dog and
Right,
just
exactly.
enjoy the moment, but
Right.
it's not automatic. So we have to create the space and the moment for it. And I feel that speaking with people has done that. I would like it to not just be me asking the questions, me bringing the stories, because I'm obviously very limited. I am really interested in creating a platform where people can bring their stories, and so that we're all inspired by each other
Right.
of the ways that we create beauty every day, and that we can continue to do that.
I love that. I think, and so people who want to learn more about beauty, there's a Facebook page that you've started?
Yeah, I started a Facebook page. It's very new, but it's there. It's Saved by Beauty. And I'm in Instagram too right now. It's Saved by Beauty.
Okay.
Same thing.
And if you could project yourself into the future, what would success look like for a project like this? Is it creating a dialogue for people to express their ideas of beauty and hopefully help other people see beauty in the world?
Yes,
How will you know
exactly.
if you've succeeded?
I would think I've succeeded. I think success is a process, you're always there, but I would really like to have a platform where people are sharing about beauty. I went to the TEDx conference on Saturday, and there were so many very inspiring speakers there. I would love it if, with very important topics, and beauty was mentioned 3 times in the whole day.
Wow.
And of course there's beauty in every single one of their talks, but having an event where beauty and bringing beauty and being aware of beauty, that would be amazing to me.
So one tip before we end our conversation for people who are just delving into the idea at a beginning stage, what is one thing they can do right away to either notice the beauty they have or the beauty they bring into the world?
For no beauty that they have, I say go for a walk. Don't bring your phone, and just try to notice. Just notice the tiniest little detail and just pause and look at it. a flower right now, oh my God, right now it's so beautiful with all the flowers, but just go and look at one. Just one of those flowers. To me, that's very powerful.
I'll have to get my daughter to get on board with that, because she would bring her phone, she would take a picture of the flower, then post it everywhere. And that to walk without her phone would be an accomplishment.
Amazing,
itself,
amazing.
yes.
That would be an accomplishment. Just that. That's success, okay?
Yes, yes. Well, Lici, thank you very much. This has been a fascinating discussion.
Thank you for
Good luck.
having me. I appreciate it.
Saved by Beauty on Facebook. My name's Bill Hernandez. Thank you for joining us.
I used to be afraid of attending networking meetings. I didn't know how to talk to people about my business. I was just afraid and didn't know what to do. I reluctantly went to a networking meeting one time and learned that the leader was a Toastmaster, Cleon Cox, and he was saying about the benefits of joining this club called Toastmasters. I went to a club near my home. Turned out to be a safe place where I could practice impromptu speaking. It was the best thing for me because these networking meetings, you meet different people from all walks of life. Practicing impromptu speaking every day allowed me to develop confidence in myself. Also, the people are supportive and encouraging, and we have fun. Thanks to Toastmasters, my business is now booming. I'm not afraid to walk up to anyone and start a conversation.